All right. How's everybody doing today? Um, Looking at topic 1.5 here, talking about a couple things. The convention is the first thing. We kind of left off with that with the articles, and we had kind of gotten to the convention. So the founding fathers get to the convention, and initially they're there because they want to amend the Articles of Confederation. And when they get there, they decide, hey, we're going to scrap this and start all over again. Um, One of the big things that AP focuses on are the compromises in the article, or I'm sorry, in the Constitutional Convention, and that's really what we're going to focus on in a lot of ways here today. So what we get is we get the Virginia Plan, and the Virginia Plan does a couple things. It really brings separation of powers into the fold, where we have three separate branches of government. Um, it wants a bicameral legislature, so it wants two houses in the legislature, um, and they want them to be um, based on population. Okay. So basically, that means that the more people you have in your state, the bigger your state is, the more representation you'll get. And that really didn't sit well with the smaller states. So the smaller states, led by New Jersey, come up with their own plan. And it looks like this. And basically, what it boils down to is that we'll have equal state representation. Okay. So what that means is that every state would get one vote. So this is the big debate, and they fought about this for like a whole summer, and it was, kind of rough. It was a rough part of the convention. So eventually, a guy named Roger Sherman from Connecticut comes up with this compromise, and we call it the Great Compromise or the Connecticut Compromise. And it basically gives us what we have today. We have a House of Representatives that's based on population, and a Senate that is equal representation. And all legislation has to pass in both houses. So the Senate really helped the smaller states. The House of Reps was more about the um, the larger states, and we go from there. Two other compromises, and they both deal with slavery. So we're talking about representation, and we talk about, how much should a slave count towards representation. And what they came up with was that a slave would count 3/5 towards representation. And you see the graphic over here, you see the white guys here at the top, they all count. Down here at the bottom, the slaves, only 3/5 of them count, which is a pretty harsh compromise, if you will, but it got our Constitution passed. Same with the slave trade compromise. Basically, it said that Congress cannot tax exports or touch the slave trade for 20 years. So in 1808, the slave trade would be banned, um, and that's not slavery. It's just the trade of slaves, and that means outside the country. All right. So those are three of the bigger compromises. Um, Mention formally amending the Constitution real quick here. You can see how they came up with that, and what you would need to change the Constitution. So the big thing that's left unresolved is the Bill of Rights. Okay, and it's a big sticking point after the um, the Constitutional Convention. A lot of people won't sign the Constitution because it doesn't have a Bill of Rights. They wanted those rights written down. And we'll talk more about that with the Federalists and Anti-Federalists. And still current day debates that go back that far is, just that role of central government and the power of state government, which, you saw the articles which had very little power to the central government. Some people still think that our Constitution has too much power for the central government. All right. Um, and it really works into some current day debates on things like government surveillance and the debate of, federal government and education. Um, and we can discuss those as a class, but that's really what's still going on today. All right. Thank you. Have a